This is a live broadcast of the main news wherever you're watching us from tonight. It's always good to have you with us. I'm Vicky Maponga. Noble Mawungwa is at the sign language desk, and I'm also with Zane, who will join us shortly. Here's a look at the stories that are making the headlines tonight. The Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill debate resumes this Tuesday. Fuel prices are expected to stabilize as the United States and Iran push towards signing a peace deal after months of conflict. And I'll look at business news. International Monetary Fund reviews Zimbabwe's staff monitored program. So much to look forward to in sport. Scotland opened a 4-point gap at the summit of the PSL log standing. Our first story tonight, a government is ticking the right boxes in inflation management, with the country now experiencing the longest stable pricing environment, which is now sustainably absorbing external shocks. Owen Mandova with our first report.
Executives and business leaders have to contend with a lot of issues on a daily basis in order to keep their enterprises up and running. But one thing for sure that is off the table compared to the past years is the need to constantly review the prices of goods and services owing to a constant macroeconomic environment underpinned by a stable foreign exchange rate. Under the leadership of Dr. John Mushayavano, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe has presided over an unprecedented macroeconomic stability for some time, with inflation in June last year nearing almost 100%, and it has sharply decreased to 4.4% as of May this year.
The policies of the Second Republic continue to bear fruit. My government successfully achieved the goals we set for ourselves under the National Development Strategy number 1, with regards to laying the requisite foundation for industrialization and modernization of our economy and the country. Under National Development Strategy number 2, we are consolidating those gains and accelerating the implementation of programs and projects to improve the quality of life of our people, ourselves. The expansive construction projects for residential, commercial, and industrial purposes are critical building blocks to the national infrastructure stock of our country. They provide tangible evidence of investor confidence in the economy and our favorable investment climate.
Analysts are saying that the economy is now in a position to absorb external shocks, such as the spike in fuel prices, demonstrating how the economy has become resilient over the years.
From an endogenous perspective, we've had an anti-hyperinflationary policy that has yielded the result, but we've had an unintended situation where there have been exogenous variables such as the conflict in the Middle East, with the Strait of Hormuz closure causing for there to be an increase in price of energy such as fuel. The inflation levels have not shot through the roof as we'd anticipated, and they've largely remained within the healthy levels of any general price level in any economy.
Despite the external pressures from the Middle East conflict, our ZiG inflation, and even including the US dollar inflation, has remained well anchored in the single-digit level at 4.4% in May 2026, demonstrating the soundness of the restrictive monetary policy stance that the central bank is continued to maintain despite the pressures.
A stable macroeconomic environment is a key ingredient for the country's economic growth, as many quoted companies are posting stellar performances by way of volume increases as well as profits. And at the moment, they are also looking at ways of expanding, as witnessed by the commissioning of new production lines by many companies across the country.
The second dispensation has really done a fundamental role to businesses and even to international investors, where they've managed to stabilize the inflation rates, where people can plan ahead and people can even, businesses are able to make decisions of a 5-year or 10-year plan, because you know that even anywhere in the world there's inflation, but when it's maintained in the manner that has been done accordingly, it is great, and it creates a better environment to attract investment.
These conditions are ideal to create two strong pillars of the National Development Strategy 2, that is of macroeconomic stability and structural transformation, in order to accelerate the country's industrialization towards attaining an upper middle income society by the year 2030. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
The Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill debate enters the defining week as it resumes this Tuesday, with more legislators having expressed their willingness to give their views regarding the bill. Let's take a look at that report.
If we move from 5 years to 7 years, we will have more solarized boreholes in Mudzi district. The people of Mudzi district, Mr. Speaker, say believe that we will have both small dams and big dams in Mudzi district if the longevity of the term increases from 5 years to 7 years. That's what they believe, because they have seen it happening on the ground. They've been appetized. They are now looking forward on a daily basis.
When leadership is given sufficient time and policy consistency, national development accelerates. Mr. Speaker said, this bill is therefore not about individuals, but about the national progress.
Major infrastructure projects, industrialization programs, energy, investment and public service reforms cannot be fully conceived, funded, implemented and evaluated within a short political cycle.
Fundamentally, a constitution is a living document which, when and as there is need, it ought to be amended.
These are some of the arguments that emerged last week in Parliament when legislators debated the Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill, which has become historic in the history of Parliament as the most debated piece of legislation. Lengthening the electoral cycle from 5 to 7 years for the President, legislators and councillors, while also allowing the President to appoint 10 more senators, gained traction on both sides of the august House. Merging the Zimbabwe Gender Commission with the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission, as well as the role of traditional leaders in politics, also received mixed reactions among parliamentarians.
Gender Commission, inangu handivumiri kuti ivharwe. Chikonzero, Gender Commission ine mabasa ayo ayakatarirwa akasiyana neku Zimbabwe Human Rights.
If traditional leaders become openly partisan, their constitutional role as community leaders and quasi-judicial authority is compromised. This clause also affects the Senate, because the chiefs, they're going to be sitting in the Senate as members of Parliament.
We are dragging our chiefs into pig fight. All the insults which are hurled at the MPs during campaigns. Can you imagine a chief going through that?
This Tuesday, parliamentary debate regarding Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill will enter the 7th day, allowing more parliamentarians to give their views regarding the bill.
We are still happy to have a couple more MPs, those that are willing to debate again. So on Tuesday, we'll allow those that want to debate. But once we feel that all the MPs that are willing to debate have debated, I would then give my responding speech addressing issues that were raised by honorable members, and that will pave the way for us now to move to the committee stage of the bill.
Among other provisions, the Constitutional Amendment number 3 Bill seeks to transfer the administration of the voters' roll from the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to the Registrar General's office, while allowing the process for the setting up of the Zimbabwe Delimitation Commission. Bruce Chawanda, SABC News, Harare.
The Zimbabwe International Trade Fair area in Bulawayo is being transformed into an all-year-round vibrant economic trade hub through the construction of a shopping mall.
Crispin Matsika earns most of his income in April during the trade fair week by selling most of his beaded work to international and local visitors at the country's premier trade showcase, the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair. The rest of the year, he is stationed here at the large city hall, selling his beaded work to locals, but business is not as vibrant.
I-trade fair iletha ama-customers suke endaweni ezishiyeneyo. Ngiperiod yena ne-trade fair siyakhona nathi sisebenze. Kube ngcono imali yakhona ingani yakhuphuka mbijana. Then ngase sikhangelela ukuthi sebezafaka imall lapha ne-trade fair. Sikhangelela ukuthi i-trade fair yona layo ngokwayo injalo isisasebenza umnyaka wonke uze ephela than ukuthi ama-building lana amanye bengasebenzi. So I think ngesikhathi sonke sokuvula imall kuzaletha more people abazabe bebeya koBulawayo besupport ama-business alapha koBulawayo.
Now excavators are digging here at the ZITF grounds to build a multi-million-dollar mall that will transform the ZITF from a once-off venue to an all-year economic hub.
This is an exciting development for not only ZITF but Bulawayo as a whole, because for us as ZITF it then unlocks a fresh revenue stream, whereas for Bulawayo it unlocks job opportunities, business opportunities as well. And we're quite excited to be a part of that historic development in the city. But our projection is that by end of next year, as per their commitment, the shopping mall will be officially commissioned.
The Bulawayo business community also indicated the national impact of the project in terms of driving economic activity in the city.
Once the mall there will be enough and a lot of visitors abazabuya bezosikhwezela business yethu.
So for Matsika, the measure is simple. If the mall allows him to earn all year round what he makes during the ZITF week, then it will greatly change the fortunes of most vendors in the city of Bulawayo. Lisa Correa, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Zimbabwe's tourism sector is maintaining positive momentum, with new figures showing an increase in visit arrivals to the Victoria Falls rainforest during the first quarter of 2026.
Building on its momentous crown as Forbes' world best country to visit in 2025, Zimbabwe's tourism engine is showing no signs of slowing down. Official data released for the first quarter by Zimpax of 2026 reveals a steady, marginal increase in visitor arrivals to the iconic Victoria Falls rainforest, signaling a strong resilience and highly successful marketing push. First quarter arrival to the rainforest increased from over 60,000 in the first quarter of 2025 to more than 64,000 during the same period in 2026.
We are pleased to report a marginal increase in visitor numbers to Victoria Falls rainforest during the first quarter of 2026 compared to the corresponding period last year. This growth in visitor numbers reflects Victoria Falls' status as a premier destination and also demonstrate the resilience of Zimbabwe's tourism industry. You will also be aware that this year Victoria Falls recorded high water levels, creating one of the most spectacular viewing opportunities in recent years.
The performance of Victoria Falls is also being closely watched as a barometer of Zimbabwe's broader tourism ambitions, but the sector identified as a strategic pillar for economic growth, foreign currency generation, and regional development.
A near 6.5% year-on-year increase off the back of a global inflationary cycle and lingering travel cost pressures. That is statistically significant resilience. What this actually means for Zimbabwe's balance of payments: each tourist arriving at Victoria Falls generates an average foreign currency spend of approximately $350 to $500 per day, covering park fees, accommodation, transport, and hospitality. Now multiply that over the quarter, and we are conservatively looking at an injection of over $9 million directly into the formal economy.
Looking ahead, tourism authorities are confident that this momentum will carry through the rest of 2026, injecting vital revenue into the national economy. Elanda Moyo, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
The newly appointed Belarusian ambassador to Zimbabwe has paid a courtesy call on the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, at Zimbabwe House in Harare.
Belarus top envoy to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Yuri Nikolaevich, paid his maiden courtesy call on the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, this Monday at her offices in Harare, with discussions focusing on fostering collaboration in areas that contribute to the socio-economic development of both nations. This was his first visit after presenting his credentials to the President, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, in April this year. As the country's health ambassador, Dr. Mnangagwa took the opportunity to applaud Belarus for supporting Zimbabwe and her philanthropic organization, the Angel of Hope Foundation. She said she had received significant support from Belarus through various initiatives that have benefited communities across the country, including the provision of a world-class mobile hospital.
We have done so many programs and projects that Belarus has engaged my office. And I want to thank His Excellency President Lukashenko for giving me the mobile clinic that has seen all the provinces being screened, and also the equipment that is in there is touched so many health issues. It's always screening people on a daily basis, and right now it's stationed at Parenyatwa Hospital, which women go there and get screened every week.
The world-class mobile hospital, equipped with an ultrasound scanner, an advanced gynecological oncology screening unit, and a radiation machine. It enables people from across the country, including those in hard-to-reach areas, to undergo screening for cervical, breast, and prostate cancer. This has made it possible for these health conditions to be detected at an early stage, significantly reducing the risk of cancer-related deaths. The First Lady also reaffirmed the importance of international partnerships that support community empowerment and sustainable development. In 2023 and 2024, Dr. Mnangagwa led a delegation of Zimbabwean female entrepreneurs to Belarus at the invitation of the Belarusian government and businesswomen's institutions, citing inspiration from Dr. Mnangagwa's hands-on approach. The visit also provided the Zimbabwean delegation with a platform to explore business opportunities and strengthen commercial ties and cultural diplomacy.
That one is still continuing. And the Belarusian women also came here, and I met them in Victoria Falls, where they met several women from different parts of Zimbabwe, where we introduced ourselves and asked women to get in touch and make sure we have a strong team which will work with the Belarusian women business community. And it happened that we had other first ladies who also learned that Zimbabwe is working with other countries to the extent of exchanging programs of women, which they also wanted to continue or to do in their countries. As you know, that women, we are in all areas now of operation. We are in mining, we are in tourism, we are in health, we are in farming, name it, we are everywhere.
The two also discussed the importance of economic ties, with Dr. Mnangagwa expressing interest in seeing the two countries cooperate in promoting healthy eating. She said Belarus is already supplying Zimbabwe with the baby formula milk, which is nutritious and beneficial to children's development. Plans are also underway to expand supplies and introduce canned meat products for children. In an interview after the meeting, Belarus' top envoy expressed his country's commitment to further strengthening relations with the Angel of Hope Foundation, as well as fulfilling the pledge made to support its operations.
This visit is continuation of already existing and established cooperation between the Office of the First Lady and the Republic of Belarus. Belarus was happy to host the First Lady twice, in 2023 and 2024, to enhance cooperation in the healthcare, in the child health and maternity protection, in the area of cultural exchange, in the area of education, children care, women empowerment, and development ties between women unions and organizations of two countries. And these valuable directions of cooperation should be supported and promoted further to achieve the aims enshrined in the bilateral roadmap for 2026-2030.
The courtesy visit reflects the growing diplomatic ties between Zimbabwe and Belarus, which continue to deepen through cooperation in various sectors, including agriculture, health, education, and economic development. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
The petroleum sector expects fuel prices to come back to normal as the US and Iran are expected to sign a peace deal after months of conflict.
A breakthrough in talks between the US and Iran, which paves way for the signing of a landmark deal in Switzerland this Friday, has seen global oil prices sliding Monday by more than 10%. The deal, which includes the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, a critical passageway for over 20% of global oil supply, has been largely welcomed by investors who have seen major global capital markets making significant gains. The development will likely have long-term benefits for the local economy in terms of lower fuel prices after government adjusted prices in February in response to the conflict.
The ceasefire holds. It is generally a positive outcome for the world economy, particularly on, number one, oil prices. Less geopolitical risks from the ceasefire has resulted in an immediate bearish impact on crude oil markets, with a 5% fall in WTI crude oil trading at $80 a barrel and a Brent crude oil reduction of around 4 to 5%, trading at 83 barrels on today's markets. This will in turn result in cheaper oil and lower petrol prices, which hopefully leads to lower transport costs for consumers and lower airline costs for airline companies, which can also be hopefully passed on to their customers. Lower inflation, which is number two, where lower energy costs feed into food production, manufacturing, logistics, electricity generation.
The government had suspended several taxes on diesel to cushion industry from high input costs since the start of the conflict, a move that has been welcomed by industry. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Wheat production is set for another record-breaking season after farmers planted the targeted 125,000 hectares compared to 120,000 hectares last year.
Wheat is now regarded as one of the food security strategic crops, and government has taken a deliberate policy to ensure that all farmers with access to water grow the cereal crop this year. And Professor Jiri is the Permanent Secretary for Agriculture. He is here to tell us more about wheat production this year.
We are now, as of the 14th of June, 123, 218 hectares, which is much more than what we did for the entire season last year. We are, of course, surpassing the 125,000 that we are targeting for this year. So this today, the 15th, farmers are finishing off planting.
A SNAP survey that we conducted in some wheat green belts of the country showed that the bulk of the cereal crop that was planted earlier is doing very well.
This year, tatikasike kurima. I'm sure murugona wheat ilipana Papa Springs Farm. Yakajikarwa mswa 10, and the crop is doing well. In the surrounding areas, kune wheat yakawanda stereki. Vanhu vakakwanisa kurima on time.
We're about 5 weeks in now. Done our first urea application, our herbicides on. Things are ahead of time. In terms of yield, anything over 8 tons we'll be very happy with.
This year the country is expecting over 660,000 metric tons of the cereal crop, up from 640,000 metric tons achieved last year, as government moves in to build the national strategic grain reserves and ensure sustainable food security for the country. Tendai Munengwa, ZBC News in Goromonzi.
Chinese firm Broxman Industrial Park is set to invest at least $500 million United States towards the establishment of a Coal-2 chemicals complex in Chegutu, which is expected to produce fertilizer upon completion in 2028.
Government's ease of doing business reforms are attracting a massive investment in Mashonaland West Province, with several high-impact projects taking shape across various sectors. One of the investments is the proposed $500 million United States Coal-2 chemicals complex in Chegutu, which will produce 350,000 tons of urea and 200,000 tons of ammonium nitrate annually. The Chinese-owned Broxman Industrial Park Company, which also operates the San Yingfeng tile manufacturing plant in Norton, is also setting up a $40 million United States 60 megawatt power plant that is set for commissioning in September this year.
The power plant will supply the energy for our park also to the grid. And once the fertilizer plant finished, we're going to solve the problem of the fertilizer shortage and the extremely expensive fertilizers problem also.
Mashonaland West Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Maren Chombo, says that the project is testament to growing investor confidence in the province and aligns with the Second Republic's industrialization agenda.
Ndoda kutenda mukuru wenyika His Excellency Dr. Idi Mnangagwa nekuti zvavaifamba vachishedza ma-investors zvakuita bear fruit akuzviona manje. Isu se-Minister of State's Office tiri basa redu to make sure kuti ma-investors vanouya tishanda pamwe nema-local authorities iwaya vanokurumidza kuserviswa.
As Zimbabwe implements the National Development Strategy 2 NDS2 high-impact projects such as the proposed fertilizer plant in Chegutu are expected to accelerate industrial growth, strengthen food security, and create sustainable jobs, reinforcing the country's drive towards Vision 2030. Tamuka Charakupa, ZBC News, Norton.
Government says the focus on youth empowerment is not accidental but intentional, strategic and essential move which is meant to achieve socio-economic transformation.
Pillar 6 of the National Development Strategy 2 outlines the country's roadmap for job creation, youth development, creative industry and culture, making youth development a central priority with a strong emphasis on empowering young people to become active agents in Zimbabwe's socio-economic transformation. In line with this roadmap, the Minister of Youth Empowerment, Development and Vocational Training, Honorable Tinoda Machakaire, this Monday launched the World Food Programme's Youth Empowerment Leadership Program, an innovative initiative designed to empower young Zimbabweans to become innovators, leaders and change makers in Zimbabwe's food systems, climate resilience and community development.
Through the program, we are doing capstone projects where we are going to innovate and solve challenges that are being faced in the communities.
I'm a Boer goat farmer, so I love goats. So the connection, market linkages, so through this connection, the market access, we are closer to the market, we know how the value chain works.
That high-level mentorship with people you ordinarily wouldn't meet, so they help us grow emotionally, intellectually.
In his keynote address, Minister Machakaire said government is committed to creating a clear, coordinated and forward-looking framework that ensures that young people are actively involved in development.
Our responsibility as government, together with our partners, is to ensure that the potential of our young people is transformed into productivity, innovation, leadership, and prosperity. The question before us is therefore not whether our young people are capable. The question is whether we are creating enough opportunities and pathway for them to realize their full potential.
For this inaugural cohort, 10 young Zimbabweans were selected with focus placed on innovation, leadership, and food systems transformation.
You can really not talk about any meaningful development if you're not involving the youth, if the youths are not at the table. So really this program creates an opportunity for us to develop the skills that are required amongst the youth, for them to be able, to interact, to engage with the outside world.
Now, the 2022 National Census report indicates a demographic dividend where over 46% of the population is between the age of 10 to 35, presenting a substantial opportunity where economic growth and development is spearheaded by young people. Panashina Goli, ZBC News, Harare.
3 City of Harare employees who were accused of culpable homicide related to the drowning of 3 people in an unsecured sewage pit in Budiriro last week have been denied bail during their court appearance this Monday.
The accused Moses Diko, Tinei Chiwai, and Thomas Rwakatiwana were remanded in custody, whereas Tapiwa Kujigadini, representing Harare City Council, was remanded out of custody when they appeared in court facing charges of culpable homicide, as the state argued that they showed gross negligence by leaving a sewage pit uncovered for 5 months, leading to the drowning of 3 people in Budiriro on the 7th of this month. It is alleged that the accused are facing a serious offense, and releasing them on bail would endanger their lives, as the public is furious over the case, which has attracted significant public outcry. The state alleges that sometime in February this year, the accused dug a sewage manhole in Budiriro 3 to clear sewer blockage, but left the pit uncovered for 5 months, leading to the death of 3 people. Court papers indicate that the accused allegedly failed to secure the manhole, where on the 7th of this month, the now deceased drowned in the unsecured pit. The accused, who have been remanded in custody, are expected back in court on the 29th of this month, pending investigations. Pavo Makona, ZBC News, Harare.
Remember, we do have our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw, where you can catch up on all the local, regional and international stories. We are also there on our social media platforms, Facebook, X, YouTube. Find us at ZBC News Online.
And still to come in this bulletin. In business, International Monetary Fund reviews Zimbabwe's staff monitored program. In sports, Scotland opened a 4-point gap at the summit of the PSL log standing. The main news takes a breather. We'll be back with you shortly.
What a better way to celebrate the heroes in our lives than with a day of culture, family, food and unforgettable entertainment. This Father's Day, the 21st of June 2026, make your way to the beautiful Baradzanwa Cultural Village in Mazoe, where fathers, grandfathers and families will come together for a truly memorable experience. Enjoy authentic Zimbabwean cuisine, exciting family activities, a fun-filled kids corner, and immerse yourself in the rich heritage, culture and hospitality that make Baradzanwa a destination like no other. Set in a stunning cultural environment that showcases the best of Zimbabwe, Baradzanwa offers the perfect place to create lasting memories with loved ones, while honoring the fathers and father figures who shape our lives. And to make the celebration even more special, Zimbabwe's musical sensation, Jah Praiser, will deliver an electrifying live performance that promises to keep the whole family entertained. This Father's Day, the 21st of June 2026, from 12 noon, Baradzanwa Cultural Village, Mazoe. Entry is $10 ordinary and $20 VIP with free bride. Baradzanwa is calling. Families are gathering. The celebration awaits. Celebrating our heroes the Zimbabwean way. Experience Zimbabwe, Nakayedu, Ilifaletu, our heritage. This is us, Zimbo.
We've always known what it takes to grow. But this is what it feels like to finally step inside the dream. It's that quiet moment when a room holds everything it used to be and everything it made possible. That this is actually mine feeling when the first payment hits. That pure adrenaline from a small space to an empire you rule. And when you said you'd almost sleep in your first car, we made sure you actually did. Plans may adapt, circumstances will evolve, but your growth, that's non-negotiable. Bank on growth with Stanbic Bank Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is our home, and we drive her growth.
Stanbic Bank is a registered commercial bank and a member of the Deposit Protection Scheme.
The voluntary disclosure opportunity is open to taxpayers who may not yet be fully compliant with their tax obligations. This includes unregistered businesses, informal sector operators, online and digital service earners, trusts, rental income earners, transport and taxi operators, as well as virtual asset traders. Take this opportunity to regularize your tax affairs before the 30th of June 2026 and move forward with confidence. Step forward, disclose, comply.
Is that KFC's Chimichurri Burger facing off with KFC's Prego? Chimi looks creamy, the Prego looks spicy, tangy, fiery, zesty, punchy. Ah! They both look so good! KFC's Chimi versus KFC's Prego. Pick your side.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Zimbabwe is strengthening its human capital base in the education sector through an exchange program with the Russian Federation. Let's take a look at that one.
A delegation of Zimbabwean teachers has returned home after an intensive training program in Russia in areas of robotics, artificial intelligence and coding. The training program, a culmination of a partnership between Zimbabwe and the Russian Federation, focuses on upskilling teachers to navigate the demands of artificial intelligence and advanced digital software.
We learned new teaching methods, incorporating AI and robotics into our heritage-based curriculum. We have heritage-based curriculum, which is the curriculum that we are teaching our children.
We also managed to learn the latest transformative innovation pedagogies that are now used especially in the Western countries. We looked at, for instance, the differentiated instruction. We looked at the choice boards. We looked at the working stations, just to mention a few.
Tikatarisa vana vedu mazuvano vakawandira kutechnology. Saka zvatakanodzidziswa uku zvakaita kuti tikwanise kuziva kuti toshandisa sei technology kuvana vedu kuti vave more motivated, vave vanzwe udokwa hwekuda kuramba vachidzidza nekuda kudzidza nekuda kuziva zvimwe zvitori kumberi pane zvavanenge vachidzidziswa.
According to Primary and Secondary Education Minister Honorable Torerai Moyo, the initiative aligns with Zimbabwe's newly launched National Artificial Intelligence Strategy, which seeks to anchor technology within the country's heritage-based curriculum.
The Zimbabwean government has embraced artificial intelligence, especially after the launch of the AI strategy, where it becomes mandatory for every teacher to have a deeper understanding of how to use AI to enhance teaching, to use technology in the full implementation and in the effective use of technology to enhance pedagogy, to enhance the art of teaching. And I'm very happy that we are receiving support in terms of human capital development, in terms of teacher professional development from our Russian friends.
Last year, a delegation from Russia was in the country to identify key areas of collaboration in the education sector so as to create a seamless integration of information and communication technology in teaching and learning. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
The municipality of Gwanda has set in motion plans to attain city status by 2030, with the initial phase focusing on waste management.
It is a new day altogether here in Gwanda, the provincial capital of Matabeleland South Province. The dark days of flies and thick smoke that used to hover above the mining town of Gwanda are over after the municipality of Gwanda decided to move dumping of waste at a dump site in the Hlalani-Mhlesebaba to a new landfill, a modern landfill 10 kilometers outside Gwanda. Now, as the refuse compactor offloads its first load here at the modern landfill, it is testament enough of a town that is ready to attain its city status by 2030. We spoke to the Gwanda Municipality Mayor, Councillor Thulani Moyo, who indicated to us that the town is now ready to properly manage waste with all the equipment now available.
It has been one of our priority areas in coming up with this proper setup of urban, whilst we are targeting Vision 2030, modernization of infrastructure, NDS2 infrastructure development and other issues to modernize our town. People of Gargai will celebrate and then go waste management. We are dumping in a proper designated area.
Now, this move by the municipality of Gwanda to stop dumping waste at this dump site in the Hlalani-Mhlesebaba has been welcomed by the residents of Gwanda who had endured a torrid time from flies and smoke that comes from this dump site that is always burning.
We are happy ngoba this will mean to say ukuthi indawo lezi zahlanzeka sizakuba clean. Imagine idote ebikhitshwa ezindlini izolahlelwa ezindlini zabanye abantu.
Tusaroti susala nje nani. Buzima ngomalosa thathi chita nikulo kumarayi wa. Angawonyanyisa tuthengisa ama chips apha. Kunanga uthenga ama chips ere mnenenzi.
With a modern landfill constructed in the tune of about 500,000 United States dollars and new buildings that are coming up in the mining town of Gwanda, the vision by the municipality of Gwanda to attain a city status by 2030 may just be on course. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Gwanda.
The UK has announced plans to ban children under the age of 16 from accessing major social media platforms by the spring of 2027, in what Prime Minister Keir Starmer says is a move aimed at protecting young people online. The proposal has, however, sparked political debate and drawn mixed reactions from parents, technology experts, as well as young people.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has defended plans to introduce a full social media ban for children under the age of 16, saying the measure is necessary to protect young people from online harm. In a media briefing in London, Starmer said the proposal was informed by concerns shared by parents across the country.
Now, I come to it as a parent myself. I know exactly the fears that we all feel when we're thinking about this issue. You know, all I've ever wanted for my own children, hand on heart, is for them to be happy and for them to be safe.
Reports say the announcement come ahead of a crucial parliamentary by-election and amid growing speculation about Starmer's political future, with some critics suggesting the move is aimed at strengthening his legacy. Responding to questions over the timing of the announcement, Starmer rejected claims that the policy was politically motivated.
In relation to the legacy issues, I see this differently. This is a huge issue for the country. This isn't about any one individual. It is something which people in this room have been concerned about, living with and campaigning about for years.
Under the proposed regulations, platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube and X would be inaccessible to children under the age of 16, while messaging services such as WhatsApp and Signal would be exempt. The plans have, however, generated concerns among some young people who argue that social media plays a central role in communication, education, and social interaction.
We are taking a breather. Join us when we return.
Across Africa, a new era has begun, shifting our focus to a new horizon, connecting us with one purpose: to create and share opportunities to grow. Today, we are making a brighter tomorrow, built by our dreams and our energy. Across our continent, across the world, we are creating a better way to a better future. A Pan-African future. Together. EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
Your voice matters in shaping Zimbabwe's economic future. The Ministry of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion is inviting all stakeholders to submit inputs into the 2026 Midterm Budget and Economic Review and the 2027 Budget Strategy Paper. The 2026 Midterm Budget and Economic Review assesses economic performance and budget implementation during the first half of the year and identifies priorities for the remainder of 2026. The Budget Strategy Paper, or BSP, is a foundational document that guides the preparation of 2027 national budget. It outlines proposed revenue mobilization strategy, highlights proposed key expenditure priorities, and provides a platform for public consultation. Importantly, the BSP sets the stage for informed public debate on national policy and development priorities. We welcome submissions on economic development and budget implementation, policy priorities and national development programs, and key interventions required to accelerate the achievement of NDS2 objective. Send your separate submissions to contributions@zimtreasury.co.zw on or before the 24th of June 2026. Together, let's build a stronger economy and more prosperous Zimbabwe. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion.
The Research Council of Zimbabwe invites you to the 14th Zimbabwe International Research Symposium taking place from 17 to 19 June 2026 at the Harare International Conference Center. The symposium will run under the theme Exploring the Nexus Between Research, Artificial Intelligence, Innovation and Sustainable Community Development. The symposium will be officiated by the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, His Excellency Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, on the 19th of June 2026. The event will feature the Director General for the Eastern and Southern African Institute, ASAMI, Dr. Peter Kiuluku, as the international guest speaker. The three-day symposium will also include plenary sessions, panel discussions, and vibrant exhibitions showcasing the latest innovations and technologies from various sectors. We are grateful to the Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority, ZERA, as the Platinum Plus partner for the 14th Zimbabwe International Research Symposium. ZERA plays a pivotal role in fostering innovation within the energy sector through its partnership with the Research Council of Zimbabwe. Become part of the prestigious 14th Zimbabwe International Research Symposium by partnering, exhibiting, or attending the proceedings. For more information, call Rumbidzai at 0782 247 747 or Forbes at 0772 447 956 or email secretary@rcz.ac.zw.
From 11 June to 19 July, everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Catch all 104 matches from as little as $10. Live on SuperSport, only on DSTV.
Our headline story in business: an International Monetary Fund team is in Zimbabwe to review the implementation of a staff-monitored program over the past 3 months.
An assessment of Zimbabwe's economy is underway
barely 3 months after the government and the International Monetary Fund approved a 10-month staff monitored program, SMP, designed to consolidate economic gains. The International Monetary Fund delegation, which has been in Zimbabwe since last Monday, is also holding talks with senior government officials and captains of industry and commerce on the state of the economy. According to an economist, Dr. Zeka Murerwa, the visit by the IMF is an indication of renewed global financial confidence in Zimbabwe.
The continued visit are a manifestation of the renewed confidence that international bodies, particularly the IMF, have got in Zimbabwe. This is going to help us in the long run to restructure our debt, to continue with the policy of re-engagement and engagement and continued engagement, which also obviously we have a bearing in terms of the financial help that we would need to ensure that our recurrent expenditure, including capital expenditure, is then funded.
With the IMF expected to release its findings for Zimbabwe later this week, University of Zimbabwe Business Studies lecturer Dr. Nyasha Kaseke explains the importance of Zimbabwe in strengthening ties with multilateral financial institutions.
If you are involving IMF, World Bank, is actual international monitors and also those organizations which actually looks in terms of how the country is performing in terms of the best practices, either financial or even in terms of how the country is doing its onward investment. I think this is a very good, important practice which can also give confidence in terms of even the financial sector, also confidence even in terms of international investors.
The staff monitored program is also designed to help government build a credible economic reform roadmap, curb inflation, as well as advance Zimbabwe's strategy for debt restructuring. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
On an exciting note, Zimbabwean author Sue Nyathi is receiving widespread acclaim after her 22-episode supernovela, The Polygamist, climbed to the top of Netflix South Africa's rankings, turning a story she first penned in 2012 into an original television sensation. Let's take a look at that one.
Because Zimbabwean storytelling is enjoying a special moment in the spotlight as The Polygamist continues to captivate audiences across Southern Africa. The 22-episode supernovela, adapted from Nyathi's 2012 novel of the same name, premiered on Friday last week. It has since surged to the #1 spot on Netflix South Africa, winning praise from viewers for its gripping plot and compelling characters, with the majority rating it among the platform's must-watch African series.
The Polygamist. Wow. Wow. I'm like, listen, let's clap hands for everybody involved in that show.
The Polygamist on Netflix. Great acting, all black cast, African cinema. Y'all did y'all thing. It had me on my toes.
I'm currently watching this new show on Netflix, The Polygamist, and I am convinced that this show is rage bait. Every episode, the saxophones kept getting louder because what?
For Nyathi, the public reaction is evidence that the story has achieved what she set out to do.
When I wrote this book, I didn't have one message that I wanted to give to readers. I mean, there are a myriad of messages that, come through the story. And I believe that as a writer, as soon as, the book, is published and is out in the world, every reader will take something different. And I love this. I love the conversation that The Polygamist has sparked.
The award-winning author said the global reach of Netflix has changed the scale at which her stories can be experienced.
Having your series stream across, 120 countries means that my stories will reach so many people, a global audience. And that kind of visibility is rare.
As The Polygamist continues to trend and fuel conversation across the continent, its success is reinforcing a growing reality. African stories are not only finding global audiences, but they are also shaping global conversations. Patience Nyagato, ZBC News, Harare.
And we say, keep soaring, Sue. We definitely do celebrate you. Still in the arts, Zimbabwe's television industry is set for a boost as producers and content creators gather in Harare from the 19th to the 21st of this month for a reality show production masterclass aimed at developing homegrown television formats.
Zimbabwean producers, broadcasters, and digital content creators will converge in Harare this weekend for a 3-day reality show production masterclass running from the 19th to the 21st of June. The training program, organized through a partnership involving the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, the Zimbabwe Film and Television School of Southern Africa, and the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation ZBC, seeks to strengthen television production and content development.
The gap that we saw is in terms of genre and format. But what we've realized, I think, with the initiative of creating new television, particularly when we're engaging with some of our partners, ZBC in particular, is that the format that has to do with reality is not really being fully done to its maximum by independent producers. So they sought to it that there should be a mitigation whereby we do a masterclass.
The masterclass will expose participants to industry experts from across the region and beyond, including consultants with experience on major international platforms. Participants will also explore emerging content formats such as microdramas and mobile cinema, which are increasingly gaining traction on digital platforms.
It's more about taking our culture and then commoditizing our culture. So it's about now teaching the technical differences in doing our scripted fictional material and I think a blend of both fact and fiction, what we call faction. So it's a matter of trying to get a balance. We want to create our own branded Zimbabwean formats that we can proliferate in Africa and the world.
Organizers expect between 60 and 100 participants, with the training open to television producers, radio practitioners, and digital content creators. Patience Nyagatu, CBC News, Harare.
Well, a lot is happening in the World Cup, but Anashe is going to be giving us more updates after this break.
This June, step into a bigger entertainment experience with more to love on Us. We're talking more drama, more action, more unforgettable stories, all waiting for you.
All hands on deck.
We're opening up our world of entertainment so you can view more.
Good job, partner.
This June, pay for your current DSTV subscription and we'll upgrade you at no extra cost.
Welcome to the Sports Corner. Anashe Mrombed's here with the latest in the world of sport. Defending champions of Scotland have sent a strong message to the rest of the Premier Soccer League teams after opening a 4-point lead at the top of the standings on the back of 5 wins, 5 clean sheets and 11 goals.
There is a moment in every title race when pressure separates the pretenders from the champions, when the weight of expectation either breaks aside or forges them into something stronger. And over the past 5 matches, Scotland have made it abundantly clear which category they belong to. 5 matches, 5 victories, 11 goals scored, and not a single one conceded. These numbers are remarkable on their own and tell a story. But they take on a greater significance when you consider the caliber of opposition Scotland have systematically dismantled along the way. This was not a winning run constructed against struggling sides or teams with nothing to play for. This was a statement delivered directly at the heart of the title race against fellow contenders and teams carrying genuine championship ambitions of their own. The sequence began with one of the most intriguing fixtures on the calendar as Scotland welcomed Chicken Inside, coached by none other than Tundra Ndirai, the very man who guided the champions to their historic maiden Premier Soccer League title. Second place, the Caps United were next to feel the full force of Scotland's resurgence. The early season pace setters, who had announced themselves as genuine title contenders during the opening stages of the campaign,
only to be swept aside by the same 2-0 scoreline as the champions demonstrated a growing and unmistakable control over the direction of the title race. A third major test arrived in the form of Renters, who came into the fixture as joint log leaders and one of the division's most informed sides. Yet they too were unable to find a way through a Scotland defence marshaled by veterans Peter Mdua and Kelvin Moyo. Triangle United, who find themselves rooted at the foot of the table, became collateral damage, but it was the most recent fixture against Hard Rock, a side that had spent much of the season occupying top spot and setting the pace for everyone else to follow, that perhaps offered the clearest indication yet of a gulf in class. The supporting statistics paint an equally vivid picture of just how dominant Scotland have been during this period, with the Caps United managing only 6 points from their past 5 matches, Hard Rock and Herentals collecting 8 apiece, and Gezi Platinum Stars accumulating 9. The second half of the season is now underway, and there remains a great deal of football to be played before a champion is crowned. But if the evidence of the past 5 matches is anything to go by, the rest of the Premier Soccer League will need to find something very special to stop Scotland from doing what champions always do. Lawrence Tusida, ZBC News, Harare.
Flower Giants Highlanders appear to be turning the corner in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League, with their recent resurgence under coach Benjani Marwari taking them within 9 points of log leaders Scotland.
A sluggish start to the campaign, Highlanders seem to have found their rhythm, opening the second half of the season on a positive note with victory over city rivals Bulwer Chiefs. The morale-boosting win, their second on the bounce after edging Agama, comes at a crucial time as Bosso prepare for this weekend's big clash against arch rivals Dynamos. The Blue Giants started the season as draw specialists, but they are slowly notching up wins and are just 9 points behind log leader Scotland. Despite the recent upturn in fortunes, Highlanders head coach Benjani Marwari insists there is still plenty of work to be done before his side reaches its full potential.
It's always a boost. If you win like this going into the next game, you always have hope, you know. And considering that my boys, they give it all, even the last game that we did, even the previous one. It's unfortunate that the tail one didn't manage to get the maximum points, but for the past 2 games, it was very important to pick up points. You know, going into this big one against Dynamos, we need the motivation.
Highlanders have 28 points from a possible 54 in 18 matches, translating to a 51% success rate, a significant improvement for a side that narrowly escaped relegation last term. As the club's centenary celebrations gather momentum, supporters are eager to see a return to the glory days that saw Bosso dominate local football, with their last league title coming 2 decades ago. Marwari, in the early stages of his coaching career, continues to show signs that he is building a competitive side capable of challenging for honours. Mchokozi Stube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Our shift to what's happening at the World Cup. African hopes will once again be under the spotlight at the 2026 FIFA World Cup this evening as the Pharaohs of Egypt face European heavyweights, the Red Devils of Belgium, in a Group G opener.
With Cote d'Ivoire becoming the first African nation to register a victory at the 2026 tournament, the continent's attention now shifts to Egypt, who face one of the world's most talented squads in Belgium at the Lumen Field. The Pharaohs arrive with the ambition of making history by reaching the knockout stages for the first time and know that a positive result against the Red Devils could lay the foundation for a memorable campaign. Belgium, however, remain one of Europe's perennial contenders and enter the tournament in formidable form, unbeaten in the last 5 matches, scoring 15 goals and just conceding twice. Led by the experienced trio of Thibaut Courtois, Kevin De Bruyne and Jeremy Doku, Belgium are expected to dominate possession and dictate the tempo. For Egypt, much will depend on the fitness and influence of Captain Mohamed Salah, whose leadership and attacking threat could prove decisive against the star-studded Belgians. The contest presents a fascinating clash of styles, with Belgium's expansive attacking football set to come up against Egypt's disciplined defensive structure and dangerous counter-attacking play. With Iran and New Zealand completing Group G, Egypt and Belgium understand the importance of making a strong start in what could prove to be a tightly contested pool. Elsewhere, Saudi Arabia and Uruguay square off in Group H encounter at the Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia in a midnight kickoff. The action continues early Tuesday morning as Iran face New Zealand at 2 a.m. Another major test for African football comes later Tuesday evening as 2-time African champion Senegal take on 2018 World Cup winners France in a blockbuster Group I clash at the SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. The Lions of Teranga will be looking to follow Cote d'Ivoire's lead and show that African nations are ready to challenge the established powers on football's biggest stage.
The match is already underway, hoping that the Red Devils won't bring back the 10 plugs in Egypt. But that's it from the Sports Corner. The weather report in focus is up next.
Good evening, Zimbabwe, and welcome to tonight's weather report and forecast. With overnight clearance of the cloud that was over the southern parts of the country, covering Matabeleland, South Masvingo and Manicaland, which led to clearer skies by this morning, especially over the eastern highlands, where we had a bit of ground frost in areas such as Nyanga with about -4 degrees, which was in the severe category in terms of our ground frost. Gweru at -2, moderate ground frost, whilst Marundra had -1, and Rusape a +1 with slight ground frost. We're still expecting cold conditions along the high veld, that's the area in the central parts of the country where we're getting those single digits in areas such as Bulawayo, Gweru, and Harare. But by afternoon, we're expecting mild conditions across board, where Matopo is still expected to be mild by afternoon, but the morning temperatures in the cold category with single digits there, and chances of frost. Same for Bulawayo, we're expecting a few single digits for the first few days, but it warms up by afternoon into the mild category with mostly sunny skies. Lupane also expecting sunny skies by afternoon, but very cold in the morning with a little bit of ground frost there. And Gweru also expecting ground frost with 7 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow, 8 for Harare. We were expecting it to warm up by afternoon, but very cold in the morning. Same for Marundra. We were expecting 6s and 7s for much of this week, but it goes into the mild category by afternoon. Nyanga also the same, with a bit of ground frost as well, with 5 in the morning. And for Mutare, we're expecting 8 for tomorrow, going as high as 27 by afternoon, with sunny skies projected there. Same for the southern parts of the country, where we're expecting Gwanda to have a few 9s, but it's better than the main watershed, where we had those single digits. Same for Masvingo, we're expecting it to be slightly mild by morning, becoming warm by afternoon. Kadoma also expecting the same, and fortunately we're expecting a few cloudy projections there, whilst Kariba expecting to be cool at first, becoming warmer by afternoon. And for Victoria Falls, we're expecting maximums to be in the 28s and 29s for much of this week. That's it for the weather and forecast. Been a pleasure, Zimbabwe. I'm James Goma Jr. for the Met Department.
And that's how we wrap the bulletin for tonight from the entire news team. Good night.
Good night.